Hey Josh, I have looked over this lesson plan. This is lesson plan 5 in Blackboard, and it looks really good. And here's some feedback for you. Okay, so I can see that at this point in your unit that you're moving towards these pieces that you've been doing where you had your students connect with Charlie, and then moving from those connections into a research report. Okay, so here we're going to be identifying researchable aspects and defining researchable. Okay, so I like the worksheet that you created for this most definitely, and I like this hook in here because it gives some fluidity and some consistency from previous lesson plans, comparing your fears to Charlie to today's lesson plans, right? Connecting with the book in a personal way, because if we're going to be doing a project and something that involves researching something you're connected with is just an easier way to go. Okay? All right. Here is the only challenge I want to throw down to you this time, Josh. This is a good question. What do you think of when I say research? And I think these are really reasonable expected answers too. Google, library, books, interviews, papers, all those kinds of things, right? And then you say, what do all of these things give you? Information. This is very accurate. And what concerned me is that you stopped here. So if information is a big part of research, what do you think it means when something is researchable? Well, here's my challenge to you, Josh. Kids often think that they don't need to know anything, but sorry for that email down there. Kids often think they don't need to know anything anymore because they can look it up. What is the point in remembering, I don't know, where the post-Meridian timeline is? I can just look it up. What's the point in remembering the 16th president of the United States? I can just look it up. There's this notion out there that our kiddos have that information is available to them. All they need do is seek it. You and I know differently, though. And because, sorry for the scrolling, because you said, I want you to choose a research topic that actually gives you a personal connection, the information in this research project is not always going to be accessible in Google, right? Because you know that's what 90% of your kids are going to use 90% of the time. Synthesizing research happens in our head. It happens as an intersection between our experience, the text that we read, and the outside information that we gather. So I want you to push beyond this notion that information is a big part of research. What do you think it means when something is researchable? It means it's findable. It means it's easy to find. That's not always the case, especially when you have them researching things like, for instance, you had up here sexual abuse, right? It's very easy to, I don't even need to go research to determine that sexual abuse is bad, and it negatively influences the people who are subject to it. I don't need Google to tell me that. I got a brain, right? I've got this piece of literature that I read. So what is it, as you're thinking, pardon me while I scroll, okay? As you're having them look at these researchable aspects, so okay, sexual abuse, researchable aspects, impact on kids, how about, rate of convictions per crime or something like that, right? But the big thing is that their topic has to come down to a claim at some point. What is it that they want to say about sexual abuse? And that claim is going to come as part of the information they find and what it is they do with that information, how they evaluate it, and how they synthesize it. Okay? So I hope I challenged you. It's a little weird, but I hope my challenge to you makes sense. When you are talking to your kids about research and moving them through, because I peeked at your next lesson plan into starting their research, how is it that I acknowledge that I can find information? I can also think about and reason about and evaluate the information that I can find. Okay? Other than that, like usual, Josh, your lesson plans are very fluid. They're very succinct. And I like your pacing. I like that there's some time when the kids are working, sometimes when they're listening to you, and sometimes when they're grouping. And I think that kind of a pacing to your lesson is going to be a real benefit when you get to actually lesson plan for real students. So nice job. Thanks.